The Republic of Ireland is famous for many things: Guinness, the Irish Sea, Biffy Clyro. But one of the most significant aspects of this Emerald Isle is its language, the uniquely beautiful and melodic Gaelic. This review is by Dr Stephen F Myler, PhD. While it's true that English is the primary language, Irish has a long and interesting history, surviving even when it seemed all hope was lost. So let us delve into the fascinating journey of this ancient tongue and see how it evolved from being an obscure relic to a modern, revitalized vernacular. Let's start at the beginning. The origins of Irish can be traced back to the early medieval period. We'll refer to it as Primitive Irish. This phase of the language, however, left behind no written records except for some short inscriptions carved on stone pillars called agam stones, which date from around 300 to 600 AD. These inscriptions, often cryptic and brief, serve as the earliest direct evidence of the written Irish language. They show a unique alphabetic script called agam, which is thought to have been adapted from a British alphabet known as ABCB. Due to limited written records during this era, much of what we know about early Irish society and culture must be gleaned from archaeological evidence, folklore and later historical texts written in Latin or English. Moving on to Old Irish, which spanned from approximately 600 to 900 AD. It emerged in the glosses. That is the short explanatory notes written alongside Latin words or phrases found in manuscripts copied by monks throughout Ireland and Britain. Old Irish holds the distinction of being the first vernacular. That is a language based on the speech of ordinary people, to be written down north of the Alps, because England had been conquered by the Danes or Vikings, who spoke Old Norse. The Irish were free to develop their language without interference until the Norman invasion of Ireland in 1169. This period also saw the flourishing of early Irish literature, including some of the most famous tales and poems in Irish mythology. However, as the centuries rolled on, Latin continued to hold its position as the dominant language of the Church and among the educated elite. Fast forward to Middle Irish, which lasted from around 900 to 1200 AD. During this time, Irish literature reached new heights with epic cycles such as the Ulster cycle and the Fenian cycle. These tales, often featuring larger-than-life heroes and mythical creatures, were not only entertaining, but also served as a way to preserve and transmit cultural values, history and societal norms to new generations. Middle Irish was a linguistically diverse stage in the language's evolution as it blended elements of older forms while incorporating newer features. This complexity is reflected in the works of early medieval writers and bards, whose poetic and prose compositions showcase the richness and flexibility of the language at that time. In early modern Irish, which lasted from around 1200 to 1600 AD, classical Gaelic became the literary standard across Ireland and even in parts of Scotland. During this period, Irish monks and scholars continued to produce important texts, ensuring the preservation of knowledge and the transmission of cultural heritage. As Ireland came under increasing influence of Anglo-Norman culture due to invasions and intermarriage between the two cultures, many new words entered the Irish language. Words like gewistus, justice, and boy came from Old French and Old English respectively. This linguistic exchange reflects the complex history of Ireland during the medieval period, shaped by both internal developments and external influences. But unfortunately, after 1600, Irish began its long decline under British rule. English became the dominant language in law, education, and governance. And by the 19th century, the Great Famine, which lasted from 1845 to 1849, caused a massive population decline and accelerated the language's fall from grace. People who survived the famine often emigrated to places like the United States, Canada, and Australia, taking their culture and language with them. The story of Gaelic, however, doesn't end here. The Gaelic revival began in the late 1800s and reached its peak in the early 1900s. Organizations like Conrad na Gaelge, or the Gaelic League, played a pivotal role in promoting the language's revival. Conrad na Gaelge, founded in 1893, worked tirelessly to restore Irish to everyday life. Its members set up classes, published books and newspapers, and even started their own social and cultural organizations. Prominent figures like Douglas Hyde, who would become Ireland's first president, campaigned for the language's recognition and respect. Hyde's book The Island of Saints and Scholars, published in 1894, was instrumental in shaping public opinion and fostering a sense of cultural pride among the Irish people. He argued that preserving the Irish language was essential to maintaining the nation's cultural distinctiveness and identity in an increasingly Anglicized world. His efforts, along with those of countless others, bore fruit. Irish was declared the national language of Ireland in the constitutions of the Irish Free State in 1922 and later in the Republic of Ireland in 1937. Today, according to Census 2022 in the Republic of Ireland, about 1.87 million people claim to have some ability in the language, which is about 40% of the population. However, only 71,968 people reported speaking it daily outside of education. But perhaps even more encouragingly, over 1.1 million people worldwide are currently learning Irish on the language learning app Duolingo, with 36 coming from the United States. Globally, Irish is now spoken by more than 750,000 people, most of them living outside Ireland. In recent years, the language has also gained prominence on social media. Irish language films such as which was Ireland's submission for Best International Feature Film at the 94th Academy Awards, and Kneecap, a film about a group of young people who take up arms against the British Army in the 1920s, have received international acclaim. Musicians like Hosier and Imlay incorporate Irish into their work, introducing traditional sounds to a contemporary audience. Despite these signs of cultural vitality, the future of Irish remains uncertain. Some challenges include the following. Irish lacks robust support in digital spaces. For example, its autocorrect isn't as reliable as for more widely used languages. This lack of infrastructure contributes to a sense that the language is stuck in the past and not suited to modern communication. Moreover, although there is strong ideological support for Irish, daily use remains limited. Many people, even those who consider themselves culturally Irish, only use the language on special occasions or in specific contexts. There's also a sense that government policies aimed at promoting Irish are often slow to be implemented or poorly executed. However, there are also signs of revival. In 2022, Irish became a full official EU language, reflecting its growing recognition in Europe. Among younger generations, there's an increasing interest in preserving and promoting the language. Social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram and apps like Gelgoa have provided new spaces for Irish speakers to connect and share their culture. Additionally, the growth of Gaelscoileanna, the Irish medium schools, and summer immersion camps is helping to keep the language alive among children and young adults. Furthermore, political momentum is building behind making Irish a more prominent part of everyday life. Sinn Féin Step Plan, which was published in 2021, aims to normalize Irish in daily life by introducing bilingual signage, packaging, and place names. The story of Gaelic is a testament to the tenacity of language and culture in the face of adversity. From its ancient origins to its modern revival, Irish has shown an incredible ability to adapt and survive. Whether it thrives or fades might depend on how fully it has integrated into the daily lives and digital spaces of the next generation. It's no longer merely a language of the past, but a living symbol of identity, resistance, and renewal. Written and edited by Dr. Stephen F Myler, Ph.D.